Reboots are always tough, a hit or a miss if you want to call it that, especially when the OG is in the form of Wesley Snipes as a vampire. You heard us, Blade's making his way into the MCU. We got the fabulous Mahershala Ali playing him, but if they want to get it right, they've got to keep it real. In this video, we'll tell you about the things that they should keep from the original movies. First off, it's about the horror of it all. What makes the classic Blade so good is the horror of it all. Of course, it's about a vampire who has become a vampire hunter. It's spooky season, but the fright of the franchise is absolutely timeless. It's what makes the movie so special. Not only that the martial arts kung fu style fights too, those are definitely going to be hard to recreate, but Marvel's got a job to do. There's a fine balance between horror and action in the OG films, and if you're overboard with either, it's not going to be Blade at all. Of course, fans will have their eyes peeled for this when the movie comes out in 2023. From tweets to articles by Screen Rant, it's safe to say everyone thinks it's absolutely crucial they hit the right tone. There's got to be something to set this one apart from the rest of the Marvel movies because of its reboot, plus he's always been on the scarier side. He first appeared as a side character in the Tomb of Dracula, a Marvel comic from the 1990s. Everyone wants the right amount of gore, but let's be real, the Wesley Snipes movie had some impressive R-rated special effects, which an MCU joint just can't have. There are so obviously going to be some compromises here, but hey, nothing's unforgivable. You can always very well be a horror scene without a whole ton of blood. There wasn't just blood though, the crazy prosthetics, the other vampire variants with freaky unhinged jaws, that's the whole package, y'all. They really fully went the creative with the vampire trope, and that's what we all want to see now. Coming up now, how can they incorporate true horror? Since this one's going to be PG-13, there's a lot they can't show on screen. Say goodbye to brutal deaths and violence. That really chills you to the bone here because that is not happening. So when restrictions like these come up, what do? You adapt. This isn't to say Marvel can't achieve a deeply unsettling vibe at all. In fact, they can go really deep into it and really shake the audience up psychologically. That's where the fun's at. They're gonna have to employ some subtle techniques, no doubt about that, but doing that itself is essentially if you want to be true into the essence of Snipes' vampire. This isn't possible. It's been done before actually. The MCU has already shown that it can do well with this genre. Just take Doctor Strange 2 as an example. The Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi, definitely took a darker turn than anyone ever expected. There's occult-inspired imagery and some insanely satisfying gore, granted. They didn't get a lot of great reviews. Part of the reason why is that folks didn't expect to get that unsettled when they came out of the theater. Come on, that one scene where Scarlet Witch killed Black Bolt through his own superpowered voice, that moment when Skull Shattered sent us all into shock. Now sit back and think about how you want to feel when you watch Blade. See what we mean? True horror does that to you, folks, and the feeling's unmatched. And now, another example of the MCU being terrifying, they've got a flair for showing the darker side of things. Another really good example of this is Moon Knight. Oh boy, did they go off with that show. Anyone who's everyone can agree that this one messed up with their heads. They didn't even need to show that much gore. The visuals, the characters, they did it all for you. Amidst the ancient Egyptian theme, there was so many supernatural beasts running amok in Moon Knight. So yes, the studio has fair experience dealing with these kind of things. Mummies, waits, absolutely haunting werewolf jackal hybrids. What's more, the visuals were used really well when you put on edge. Contrasting lighting, mirrors, and reflection, you can actually draw parallels to horror classics in some shots of the show. Flickering lights, shadows, and all the things add a lot to how you feel when you watch a movie or TV series. For this one, they really dove deep into Mark Spector's psychological condition. The reveal was mind-blowing and super scary at the same time, plus the CGI was way better than what it was back in the day, so it's safe to say they can do a pretty decent job if they go down the right route. The fight sequence has got to be a bomb though. No one can come up to Jackie Chan's level, and we're not expecting that, but some oomph is absolutely vital, everyone. Following up, let's talk about the martial arts scenes. It's so easy to overlook fight sequences these days, but there's a lot that goes into even the simplest little tussle, let alone a full-blown kung fu battle. The first two Blade movies really set a high standard to say the least. Donnie Yen was the first choreographer, and with his guidance, they absolutely put the franchise on the map. Fantastic kicks, swordplay of it all. Of course, Marvel has also dipped their toes into this aspect, a little more than that in fact. With Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, they took a similar Hong Kong style approach and did it pretty well. It was the first proper martial arts film by the studio, and they slayed us. If you think back to Daredevil, they incorporated some of that there too. That being said, there's not a whole lot to worry about. They've proven time and time again that they can handle action and horror, but having both in one movie is what's really tough. With shows like Moon Knight, we've got a lot to be optimistic about when it comes to MCU, and making more horror content, it's going in a good direction, so let's hope they follow through with Blade. It'll be released on November 3rd, 2023. Oh, also, fingers crossed for more updates on the cast, and now for some other MCU news you might have missed out on. Firstly, where the Man-Thing should show up next. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has finally welcomed Man-Thing. After years of hints in shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Thor Ragnarok, the iconic and insanely lovable Marvel hero made his debut in the recently released Halloween special Werewolf by Night. For context, he's a character called Dr. Ted who worked on the super soldier serum, and all ruined science experiments go, he accidentally injected himself with the formula and wandered off into a swamp where just had to be the nexus of reality. Don't you just love accidental monsters? What's more, he excretes acid on anyone he touches who feels fear, and when you look at him, you gotta be afraid. Like, come on, the character design is spooky. So according to Screen Rant, the best places to see this guy are with Loki. Yep, since the show has dipped its toes into the multiverse, the possibilities are endless. There are a lot of threats looming, and the Man-Thing could very well be the god of mischief. Up next, Oscar Isaac teases Moon Knight's future. While the show has been really well received, nobody was really sure about a second season. That's because Marvel promoted it as a limited series, but the way they ended up with it, boy, there's gotta be more. You can't just introduce Jake Lockery and then dip. Well, we've got words from the man himself that we've got more in store. The Moon Knight actor teased his character return while answering a question about Season 2 this weekend at New York Comic-Con 2022. But in typical MCU fashion, Isaac seems to be holding back info, trying to be as vague as possible. We see Oscar. He said this isn't the last we've heard of the system of the show. Okay, we don't exactly know what he means by system, possibly the system of personalities, but we take what we can get. Something big is coming soon, let's just hope it's an actual second season. Lastly, the new She-Hulk finale video. The new promo for the finale has everyone talking on Twitter. The official account posted the video on the platform, and turns out we're saying hello to an old friend. So Mark Ruffalo's Hulk drops through the roof of a wooden building after being absent for the previous 6 episodes while traveling to Sakaar in space. Then, before you know it, he's going toe-to-toe with an old rival. Yes, the one and only Abomination. This is really surprising considering that we all thought they had made amends and were on good terms. Seems like there's another betrayal for the books, plus we even see Abomination wearing a shirt. How he found one that fits him, we don't know. Just kidding. CGI can achieve anything. Well, that's all for this video. Do you also hope that MCU's Blade keeps the original horror and action balanced? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.